Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. How are you today? Introduce myself. My name Mutia Arganti. I would like to storytelling about the magic around. There was once a young man who wanted to go on a journey. His mother provided him with a sack of dried meat and pair of moccasins. But his father said to him, "Here, my sons, are four magic around. When are you need suit of them?" The young man went forth alone and hunted in the forest for many days. Usually he was successful, but one day came when he was hungry and could not find meat. Then he sent for one of the magic around, and at the end of the day there lay a fat bear with the arrow in his side. The hunter cut out the tongue for this meal, and of the body of the bear. They made a thank offering of the great mystery. Again he was in need, and again in the morning he sought a magic around, and at nightfall beside his campfire he found an elk lying with the arrow in his heart. Once more he ate the tongue and offered up the body as a sacrifice. The third time he killed a moose with his arrow, and the fourth time a buffalo. After the fourth round had been spent, the young man came one day out of the forest, and before him there lay a great circular village of tin lodges on one side and some little way from the rest of the people. He noticed a small and poor tent where an old couple lived and alone. At the edge of the wood he took up this cottage and hid them in a hollow tree. Then touching the top on his head his distaff, he turned himself into a little lazy boy and went toward the portent. The old man saw him coming and said to her, Old man, when us keep this little boy for our own? He seemed to be a fine, brave-eyed little fellow, and we are all alone." "What are you thinking of, old woman?" grumbled the old man. "We can hardly keep ourselves, and yet you talk of thinking in a wretched little camp from nobody nowhere." In the meantime, the boy had come quite near, and the old wife beckoned to him to enter the lodge. "Sit down, grandson, sit down," she said kindly, and in spite of the old man's bad looks, she handed him a small dish, the precious corn, which was all the food they had. The boy ate, stayed on. By and by he said to the old man, "Grandmother, I should like to have grandfather make me some rounds." "You hear, my old man?" said she. "It will be very well for you make some little round for the boys." "And why should I make a round for a strange little ragged boy?" grumbled the old man. However, he made 2 or 3, and the boy went hunting. In a short time, they returned with several small birds. The old man took them and pulled off the feathers, thanking him and praising him as he did so. She quickly made the little birds into soup, of which the older man ate greedily, and with the soup prepared the straw a small pillow. "You have done well, my grandsons," he said, "for they were really very poor." Not long after, the boy said to his adopted grandmother, "Grandmother, when you see me at the edge of the wood yonder, you must call out, 'A bear! There goes a bear!'" This she did, and the boy again sent forth one of the magic arrows which he had taken from the body of his game and kept by him. No sooner had he shot than he saw the same bear that he had offered up, lying before him with the arrow in the side. Now there was great rejoicing in the lodge of the poor old couple. While they were out skinning the bear and cutting the meat in thin strips to dry, the boy sat alone in the lodge. In the pot on the fire was the bear tongue which he wanted for himself. All at once a young girl stood in the doorway. She drew her robe modestly before he passed as she said in a low voice, "I come to borrow the mortar of your grandmother." The boy gave her the mortar and also a piece of the tongue which he had cooked, and she went away. When all of the bear meat was gone, the boy sent for a second arrow and killed an elk, and with the bird and fowl the shot a moose and the buffalo as before, each time recovering his arrow. Soon after, he knew the people of the large village were in trouble. A great red eagle, it was said, flew over the village every day at dawn, and the people believed that it was a bird of evil. For they no longer had any success in hunting. None of their brothers had been able to shoot the eagle, and they had offered this only daughter in marriage of the man who should kill it. When the boy heard this, he went out early the next morning and lay in wait for Red Eagle. At the touch of his magic arrow, it fell at his feet, and the boy pulled out his arrow and went home, without speaking to anyone. But the thankful people followed him to the poor little lodge, and when they had found him, they bought the safe, beautiful daughter to be his wife. Oh, she was the girl who had come to borrow his grandmother mortar. Then he went back to the hollow tree where his clothes were hidden, and came back a handsome young man, richly dressed for his wedding. The end. This is storytelling about the magic arrows. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.